Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Moltrap here. Coming at you with some StarCraft. I know it's a big surprise, but we got more StarCraft for you today. We got a game from the MSL, from the Pringles MSL. This is from the MSL Top 100 series, and this is number 85. And I am actually really looking forward to this game. A lot of people are not too keen on mirror matchups for some reason, but I like mirror matchups a lot of the time. And this is going to be a PvP between Stork and Nalra. Maybe my two favorite Protosses of all time, actually. I'm a fan of Bisu, but I'm not like a Bisu fanboy. He's like a player that I respect, but he's not necessarily a favorite of mine, right? Stork and Nalra, I think, are two of my favorite Protosses ever. Stork because he's kind of like was my first favorite, you know. He was doing really well in like 2007, and he was like the underdog, and I like to root for the underdog, so I kind of latched onto Stork for that reason in 2007. Nalra, I've gotten more and more respect for over the years as I've watched some of his older games and realized what a real creative player that he was. I'm a real big fan of creative players. It's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of Zero, aka Queen. That's why I was a fan of Up Magic until he became a scumbag match fixer. But Nalra is a very creative player, so it's gonna be cool to see what he has here. This is from 2006, and by the way, just to get your bearings here, Nalra, oh my gosh, this is the Pringles MSL, and they actually have a Pringles mascot. Was he flipping people off? I'm gonna go back for a sec. He's only got like 3 fingers. Okay, he's just got all of his fingers. It's just a weird thing, but I was like, is he holding up his middle finger even though he only has 3 fingers? That was a little bit weird. Anyway, so Stork is going to be the teal Protoss in the bottom right-hand corner, and Nalra is going to be the orange Protoss in the top left-hand corner. And so we're going to see how this fares. Both players are going for gateway openings right now. I guess it's the only opening you can do in Protoss versus Protoss, actually. So look at this, the little fan with the Pringles cans in the audience. The product placement is so adorable. So we're probably going to see this be relatively even for a minute while this heats up into the late early game, or the early mid game, however you want to call it. Where they're going to have mirror builds for a while is kind of my point here. But in any case, this is from 2006. So this is a sort of an interesting moment because this is an up-and-coming Stork, and this is kind of an outgoing Nalra, you know? Nalra was still very competitive and winning stuff through 2005-ish. I think he actually might have even gotten very far in 2006. I'd have to look it up. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But by like the end of 2006, Nalra was not really quite a contender anymore, you know? And by the end of 2006, Stork was just kind of coming into being a strong contender. Stork actually, I didn't realize this before, but he actually won the OSL, the On-GameNet Challenger League in 2004. That was Challenger League was like the mini league that you used to qualify for the main league, right? And they held it as its own tournament, and then if you won the whole league, that you could get a seed in higher into the OSL. And so by winning that, oh, got white people in the audience, gotta show them on camera every time. Any case, so oh, look at this probe, Punk and the Zealot. And Zealot, that was cute. He put out the Zealot to take a pot shot at the probe, and then he put it right back again because he knows that probe is just trying to goad him into stopping his guard position at that little door, so he can actually get in there. Ooh, Robo for Nalra and Citadel for Stork. Is he going to go for a DT rush here and versus Robo? That could be catastrophic because if he's going for fast observers, his tech just gets countered. So we'll see what happens here. But just to finish that thought, Stork, basically, so point being, in 2004, Stork made a bit of a splash, and he probably seemed like an up-and-coming player right then, that had a lot of potential, and he didn't actually really come through and get really winning much until a couple years later. It wasn't until 2007, obviously, that he got second place in an MSL against Bisu. So anyway, so it's just kind of a cool moment in time for these two players, and it's going to be a cool moment to just watch this Protoss versus Protoss and see kind of what the stage of the game is for PvP. And Stork getting that Templar Archives up. So let's see, where's he got the robotics facility? Where is Observatory? It's not a quick Reaver. He's going to completely counter Stork's rush here. Yeah, so this is, and he's getting a forge. If you go for the DT rush, you kind of need your own forge in case they TT rush. You get something to detect their Dark Templars. So Stork's gonna get kind of shut down here. Now, in theory, he's gonna get shut down, right? But if the DT, like, let's say the observer is flying across the map, and the DT goes across a path that the observer doesn't go, and they miss each other. The DT could still get into the main, kill some probes, still could do some damage. So there's still a possibility of some craziness happening here. The DT is in fact going diagonally across the map right now. The observer's about to pop out the first one in a moment. Interestingly, he made a shuttle first. Not sure what his plan is for that shuttle. I mean, obviously it's for the Reavers later, so JK, I do know what the plan is for the shuttle. But by the way, I want to say this. This is the map The Eye, in case you're curious. And I was looking at this map beforehand, and the observer runs right over the Dark Templar, and he immediately shifts and just right-clicks that Dark Templar with the observer, tacks it on. This Dark Templar is going to do nothing. Is he even going to he might kill it. Is he going to actually get away? Should have gone for that speed upgrade on the observer so it could cape up. No, so the Dark Templar at least gets away, and it's gonna kind of buy him a little bit of time because now Nalra, even though he has an observer, he still has to be a little bit careful that he's not gonna let DTs sneak into his base or something like that. And High Templar out as well, actually. So he's going straight into the High Templar tech there. Well, I guess it's the same tech as the Dark Templar, but I mean, he's gonna probably be upgrading Psystorm and preparing for that to be his AoE damage here. Whereas the Reaver is out now for Nalra. So this is a very interesting situation. Nalra, I feel like, is going to have a little bit of advantage because the Templar is going to cast one storm. Maybe two. He might have a second Templar out or something, but he's going to get a couple storms, and if he doesn't do enough damage with those storms, then the Reaver will carry the day by being able to do a similar amount of damage in a smaller area over and over again, whereas the storms are just gone, and then you get to Morpha and Archon, but still. But this is the map The Eye, like I was saying, and we see Stork kind of positioning outside of his base to potentially take an expansion, because the expansions in this map are very wide open areas, and so it's kind of hard to protect, so that's why I wasn't surprised to see one base play from both these guys. But here comes the Reaver coming into the side. He sent the observer in first to spot what's going on. He sees that there is a cannon there, but the cannon is not quite up in time, and some of the probes is he transferring those to it? Oh, he brings it over to where the probes are transferring. And he goes for the Templar with the first Scarab. He actually lets the Reaver soak up the storm in order to save damage on the shuttle, feeling that the shuttle is actually a better investment here of his resources. He doesn't go for the probes. I was a little bit surprised by that. And the shuttle's actually going to escape. But the Reaver is left for dead, and having taken a storm shot, the Dragoons are going to clean up the Reaver. So that was a potential to pop a lot of probes there, and he didn't end up popping any probes. I don't think he killed any probes there at all, actually. And I was like, are they transferring or are they running? And it looks like they were both. So Stork had gotten that expansion up, and he was it might have just been a coincidence that he was running his probes to the other base at the exact right moment, that he was kind of splitting up his probes so they couldn't get all killed at once with a single Scarab. But at the same time, probes transferring do clump up for a Scarab, and it was a very interesting decision for Nalra to go after the High Templar with the Reaver rather than the probes. Now, it is also possible that it was just that once the Reaver popped out of the shuttle, it immediately targeted the closest thing, and that might have been the High Templar, but I think it looked like he targeted that. I'd have to go back and double check to get a better impression of it. But anyway, Nalra now is pushing across the map with some Dragoons here, each of them trading goons. Once Stork gets back to his cannons, he's going to be in a safe-ish position. So you can see there's kind of a wide open choke there. That's the choke that you have to defend against an oncoming attack, because otherwise if you defend closer to your expansion, then it's going to be, you're going to leave your main open basically. And it looks like Nalra is going to do some ferrying here. He's going to elevator his units up to the top here. Now Stork does have a pylon in position to scout this out, but it's just the Reavers actually. He's got two Reavers, so he's just going to get some free kills. No, he's actually is going to elevator his units up here. He's going to depend on those Reavers, which are spaced out, by the way. intentionally or not, spaced out enough that they can't both be stormed right now. And Stork is going to be forced to get his units back into his main base to try and deal with this. More units being ferried into his main, though, while that process is happening. And Stork is kind of in a pickle here, where he's had to abandon his front door where all of his cannons are. Storm goes down on the Reaver. It's polished off easily by the Dragoons. Second Storm goes down onto a lot of the Dragoons. Can he finish those off, though? He's trying to go for the Reaver, and the shuttle micro is too strong. He picks up the Reaver 2 or 3 times and dodges lots of Dragoon shots, and Stork divided his attention too much there. The Storm went on the Dragoons instead of the Reaver, and then he targeted the Reaver and the shuttle with his units, and instead of killing either of them, everything lived. And look at that Scarab shot going off, and then there's a second Storm, though. Oh, the third Storm whiffs, but the fourth Storm is solid. There's so many Storms here actually going down. He's gonna have to morph into an Archon pretty soon because he's out of attack units, though. He needs to do something here. The Zealots have not been able to get close enough to that Reaver to actually do enough damage without taking damage themselves. The Dragoons have been good ushers of that last remaining Reaver, and here comes this Templar in here. Does it have a Storm? No, it's just been grouped with the Zealots, and attack moved in here to die, and that's unfortunate because he probably would have wanted to keep that back a little bit. And good for Nalra, though, kind of targeting everything else first, so he's actually targeting the dangerous units first. If that Templar did have a Storm in it, he would have used it, but he saw several Storms go off, so he knows that there's kind of nothing left in the bank for those Templar. Now he's going to work actually targeting the Templar archives. More Reavers have been output for Nalra right now. If he runs out of Reavers, he can run back and pick those up, and it looks like he's actually going to, in the face of this higher Dragoon count with low shields on his Reaver and his shuttle, he's gonna just fall back here. And I like Stork bringing in the probes to kind of just be a little bit of a buffer to make sure that the Dragoons can't run away. I don't know why my voice cracked there just for a second. To kind of herd the enemy Dragoons into the right spot so he can pick them off easier, and also just do a little bit more damage as well. But anyway, point being, Stork cleaning that up, but now by saving the shuttle, abandoning the Dragoons in order to save the shuttle, now Nalra can fall back, and he's been building up units as well during this time off of just that one gateway, but still, oh, I'm sorry, a few gateways. I saw one gateway on the screen. I was like, oh, he only has one gateway? I better say that. And then I was like, wait, no, of course he doesn't have one gateway. It just happens to be. Did you know that objects have permanence in StarCraft? And when something is not on the screen, it still exists in the game? It's true. Oh, that Reaver did, sorry, that Scarab I thought was going to be a dud, but it did end up going off. Stork having to do a little bit of a tussle here, and attacking the Reavers with the Zealots is not the right move. He actually does kill one off, though. Wasn't able to pick it up quite in time. Some Dragoon shots going down on it earlier as well, I believe, were helped soften it up. So he actually does manage to take it out, despite the fact that the Reaver is there to demolish the Zealots in mass with that AoE damage. So we're just continuing along these side-by-side paths of Nalra going with the Reavers and Stork going with the shuttle, with the Templar. And just as I say that, we do see that Nalra has his own Templar archives, and he's sending some DTs out into the field right now as well. And I don't think Stork has observers. He's got cannons. But he doesn't have observers, so he's going to be kind of kept in his base a little bit if he tries to move out. And there's some of his army kind of in the middle of the map. If he does encounter that DT, he's going to be forced to fall back to his cannons. There is, I believe on this map, a spot where if you do take that choke point, you can kind of protect a third base as well. I'm curious to see if these players do go for a third anytime soon. And it looks like Stork is preparing for it. The probe that had put down a pylon there and was prepping to build a nexus does get taken out by DTs. There's actually a few DTs here. He's going to ferry some of the DTs up into the main. I don't know how effective this is going to be because we do know that Stork does have a cannon in his main already. And it looks like he's going to bring in a Dragoon in here to deal with this as well. It's actually, no, it's not DTs. It's the Reavers. Surprise Reavers in the base, in the main base. He's doing a good job of spacing out his Dragoons, so they're taking a lot of Scarab shots to kill, and the Reavers are going down. But in the meantime, they're both distracted in this middle as well. Stork's High Templar are a little bit behind, but the DTs are attacking the High Templar, and he's actually able to get a couple storms off, but significant damage being done. And oh, he's actually... He's actually targeting the cannon, but the probes are just mining right next to it, and he takes out several probes and the cannon at the same time. A huge blow to Stork's economy and his ability to, defend his economy further by that the cannon going down in his main. There's DTs in the main as well. Are they targeting down the Nexus now that the cannon is there? I don't know what Stork can do. Stork doesn't have a robotics facility, I don't think. I don't think he made it. Does he? He doesn't have observers at all. Does he? Okay, he does have an observer coming in, so the robotics facility must have been made at his natural expansion where we haven't seen the view go for a while, which, again, you know, it kind of would have made sense for him to make the robotics facility as soon as he saw the Dark Templars earlier, so I'm not surprised that he has it, but we hadn't seen it for a while, so I wasn't sure. But in any case, so Stork able to clean up the DTs in his main, but not before he loses his Nexus to those Dark Templars. Nalra now pushing into the natural expansion here, going for the kill perhaps, laying down some storms of his own on Stork's troops. Stork dodging them fairly deftly though, doesn't take too significant of damage. If he fights with those cannons, I think he does have the advantage, especially because he has the defender's advantage at the moment. And he's actually even going to go take a second to go over here and kill off this Dark Templar that shut down his third base earlier. Stork trying to that's right. Okay, so again, I looked at this map beforehand, but I didn't have a good view of it. It was about as many pixels in the map as there were in this VOD right now. So I didn't see that there's actually a second ramp down into the third base location there. So Stork kind of doing a little bit of skirmish there. He's actually gone back over here to his cannons, and it looks like Stork has been reinforcing this position, and Nalra has not. So Stork having the superior numbers and having kind of picked off those Dark Templars is in a better position. Some nice storms going down by Nalra onto those Zealots, but they do again dodge out, so not a ton of damage done here. And Nalra actually finishing his third base and is now kind of messing up the transfer of probes a little bit. They were a little bit early, so they mined and then went back home with the probes. They're going to get back there pretty soon though. But Stork retaking his main, and it looks like Stork was taking a third as well. No, is that Nalra's base in the bottom left? Actually, I think Nalra is taking a fourth in the bottom left. Another pretty good storm here from Nalra, doing some damage to those Dragoons. But you have to, if you soften up the units with the storms, you got to finish them off. And there's the GG coming from Stork, because even though his units were not finished off yet, I think he knew he was not going to be able to come back from that. Nalra just has too much stuff. And with basically one base mining for the last several minutes, with the Reavers in his main, what have you, Stork not able to keep up production and is forced to GG against the onslaught of the Templars and the Reavers and the DTs. And the general awesomeness of Nalra. What a boss. Hope you guys enjoy that. Thanks for watching very much, and take care.